you already know me, my name is Shawn Murray. I'm chair of CAPED, which is the Cape Breton Association of People Empowering Drug Users. I'm also a longtime employee of the Ally Center of Cape Breton, which are advocacy group of the time here in Cape Breton.
Yay!
We're really happy to be able to invite you into our new space and to let you know what we've been up to. So, CAPED was formed out of necessity about 2 years ago by Giulia di Giorgio, and who was the original chair of the board, but she stepped down to empower employees. And she'll tell you more about that in a little bit. So we were just starting to gain momentum as CAPED, and then COVID-19 happened, as we all know how that story goes. So with some appreciated assistance from Megan McLeod, Northside Rising, and guidance from the Ally Center, where Giulia and I and a number of our board members are employed, we were able to form a board of directors and become a society so that we'd be able to apply for funding in the future. And it's quite significant that we're a board of directors comprised solely of people with lived and living experience, and it really So in our beginnings, we held some meetings at the library here in Sydney, and we invited members of the drug-using community to come and speak with us and get their input and hear their concerns and try and figure out what direction CAPED should take. So after hearing from the community, we decided that our focus should be on safe supply due to the toxic illicit street supply, which was causing accidental drug poisoning and causing infections in people, causing traffic loss of life.
Get alcohol poisoning too.
Alcohol poisoning, yeah. Giulia tried really hard to make that happen here by implementing the MySafe project, which would have been a biometric vending machine where people could access opioids. They would be prescribed by a doctor, would have access to the machine, and have access to the supply. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find a doctor to go out on a limb and prescribe to the machine. So that project kind of went by the wayside, unfortunately.
For now.
So it became very clear to us that much work still needs to be done in challenging attitudes towards substance use and substance users within our healthcare community and healthcare system and all of our systems. So in the meantime, Giulia and Megan from Northside Rising and Laura Chapman, they had put together a proposal to Health Canada with an idea for a program that would help challenge stigma and discrimination of the drug-using community, because when it comes down to it, it is stigma and discrimination that creates so many barriers within all of it. So this program would also hopefully create employment opportunities for people with lived and living experience within the drug-using community. This year we received word that our funding had been approved. Yay! It was unexpected, and we were a little ill prepared at the time because the announcement of funding had been delayed because of COVID, and so much had changed for us in that time. But we pulled ourselves together and we did what needed to be done so that we were able to take on this project with confidence. And we did face many setbacks and ran into many barriers, but we rose to the occasion and we overcame everything that was thrown at us. And through fate, it seemed, everything just fell into place. We found a fantastic team of passionate, driven individuals to take on this project, which I hope will be the first of many projects that we take on. I'd like to introduce our current board of directors. We have Regina. There's Regina. So Regina is an employee of the Ally Center as well. We have Stephen Dirtle, who was unable to attend, but he is our treasurer. We have Vinnie Viana-Havristio, who's our secretary. She's over at the overdose prevention site at the Ally Center right now. We have Steve Caldwell, who's in the Brunswick.
Hello, Steve. Hello, Steve.
We have Jeff Lawson, who unfortunately couldn't attend. He's also an employee of the Ally Center. And Steve Sampson, who's unable to attend. We also have Taylor Furtick, who came from the U.S. He's kind of an honorary member of our board. He's gives us a lot of valuable input. And we're always looking for new members of our board, so if anybody would like to join us, just let me know. And we're also looking
Yeah, that's what I
for
said.
we're also looking for a new vice chair. So if anybody wants to have a chat with me about that.
Amazing.
And I'd like to introduce our employees of the Undoing Harms project. Zoe, where's Zoe?
Zoe, woo! That's the Undoing Harm project.
Yes. So Zoe's kind of handling our communications and a lot of our social media. And yes, we did a newsletter which we just released.
Amazing.
And we've got Bridget Carlson, who is our new project coordinator. And we've got Amy Graham. She's going to be a community navigator, so she's going to be advocating for people in communities and accessing services. And we've got Cindy Bryan, who's our project manager. She's got a lot of experience behind her. We're very glad to have her. And Giulia, who made all this happen.
Yeah, Bridget's going to just take a minute and do a land acknowledgement.
I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in the McMackey, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship. The displacement and trauma endured as a direct result of racism, colonization, and all other relative abuses contribute to the disproportionately high numbers of First Nations people who are discriminated against and criminalized. We welcome every person who has been directly affected by these harms, acknowledging the imbalance of oppressive abuse we face, united as people who use drugs. Now I will pass it over to Giulia.
Good job, Bridget.
Really happy to see everybody here today. First of all, I miss you guys.
We miss you.
So I think right now I'm a little overwhelmed, but if we could just to ground ourselves, take a moment to reflect on all the loved ones that each of us have lost in our lives due to overdose and drug use related harm. And also remember how we treat each other and people that may be struggling more than we are. And for people that the more connections that we make in the community, the more people don't feel alone, right? And so that's what we hope to do with this project. And well, it's part of what we hope to do. But right now, like the toxic drug supply is taking someone's brother, sister, mother, daughter, son, father, uncle, lover, every 80 minutes in Canada. Every 80 minutes. So if we could just take a moment, like 60 seconds, to put our head down and remember those of people that we have lost in our lives and why we're here as an advocacy organization. Sure have felt the loss in our community here in Cape Breton. And that's what's motivated me to keep plugging away at trying to gain better access to services by people with lived experience, for people with lived experience, because we know best what we need in our lives. Back in 2005, when I first secured meaningful employment at the Ally Center, it was after many years of substance use that I finally had an opportunity for meaningful employment. I finally felt at home. It was then the AIDS Coalition. And within my work there, Christine, you all know, heard about an opportunity for people with lived experience to join a team of folks from across Canada. I think it was Health Canada's first initiative at trying to reach out to people with lived experience to hear what we say we need. So I joined this team, and back then we didn't even have cell phones. It was all telecommunications, like a teleconferencing on a landline once a month. And but it was really cool. We were really by a really awesome group of people with a lot of fire, a lot of heart and soul, and we did some really great work. And we came together and we all met the following year in Vancouver at the 17th International Harm Reduction Conference. And it was like drug users from all over the world came together, and we were treated like kings and queens in the fanciest hotel downtown Vancouver, and like with chocolate flowing fondue fountains and all this stuff. Like anyway, you wouldn't believe. For a whole week, it was amazing. And out of that, it was really cool too to meet people from like Hawaii, every part of the globe. It seemed had a representative, and we all had that same experience of we all were there to unite our voices in trying to create better access to services. So we founded was called the International Network of People Who Use Drugs at that conference, and we together one day we wrote a declaration, and it's now referred to as the Vancouver Declaration, all about our right to healthcare and our right to pull what we want to in our bodies without being persecuted for it and without being criminalized for it. And we're still not there today, but we've made some great strides, right? So that we should have the right to basic needs without discrimination, and that we pledge to unite, raise our voices together to advocate and be included in the development of policies and services that directly affect our lives. So yeah, like I said, unfortunately it's not enough what Canada has done today, and we're basically in a state of emergency in my world. If it was any other group of people in society that were dying at the rates that our people are, something would be done, right? The same way that they jumped on COVID the way they did when that happened.
It's true.
So it's because we're so highly stigmatized and because drug use is against the law, right? That then people feel justified in stigmatizing and discriminating against us. So we're trying to undo that by just sharing that we are normal people, that if we were provided the basic needs of life and supports and access to services like everybody else and opportunities and not be criminalized, we could, do great things, right? So I consider myself one of the lucky people, right? Thank you, but I hope to be able to create more opportunities for other people who have lived experience to get back on their feet and to feel part of a community. So this project, Undoing the Harm of Stigmatization and Criminalization of People Who Use Drugs in Cape Breton, was funded by Health Canada. It's for the next 15 months, and we hope to do a really good job of it so that it will hopefully be continued. Our work will be sustained going forward. And we'll be using our lived experience to attempt to undo some of the harms of drug laws and policies to show people that we're trapped in a vicious circle. Because we're shunned by our community and services that are there to serve us, we can't get back on our feet. And without access to those basic needs, we're in a constant state of stress and survival mode, where we can't secure housing, employment, health services, none of that with a criminal record, right? So how we're expected to get back up? Drugs could be legally regulated and sold, which would take the criminal element out of substance use and save our lives, right? So we'll continue to build upon the work of the Ally Center in furthering connection and supportive access to services, while also delivering programming that will help people build skills and identify needs based on what you guys say you need. And then we will advocate for more opportunities by us and for us based on what you guys tell us. So I welcome y'all here today, and I pass it over to the manager.
Hi everyone, my name is Cindy, and Shawn introduced me as Cindy McIsaac, but I'm now Cindy Bryan. McIsaac is okay in Cape Breton. So, for me it's both an honor and a privilege to speak on behalf of CAPED today, and welcoming all of you for the annual kickoff, for the official kickoff. support of my family and my network of friends, I had chosen to live a life free of substance use 25 years ago. My history with substance use and chosen path ignited my desire to help people who faced stigma and discrimination, especially as it was related to opiate-assisted treatment for people who sought help in the recovery community. I couldn't understand why people who had used substances would judge others who were seeking an alternative way to help themselves to reduce the harms. Over 20 years ago, when I began working in harm reduction field, people in need of methadone had to wait years. They had to wait till they lost their children, till they lost their housing, until they contracted hepatitis C or HIV. They had to travel from Cape Breton to urban centers like Halifax to get treatment. And once there, they were severed ties from their family and their community, and then became further street friends. The heartache of that for people and the desperation, it's just horrible. Fortunately, things have changed in the harm reduction landscape. People can now more readily access treatment. However, there's much work to be done. So much work to be done when we're faced with this toxic, contaminated drug supply. And it's not just in Vancouver, and it's not just in Toronto. Well, as I said, improvements have been made. The impacts of trauma, of being homeless, the impacts of losing your children, the impacts of being incarcerated. All of those things are hard to come back from. Organizations like the Ally Center here in Cape Breton, Direction 180 in Halifax, Mainline, and countless organizations have fought tirelessly to have the voices of all of you at the table. Because your voice should be there to help design and deliver the services that we need. I am so proud today that CAPED has created their own table. And this table is for all of you to come to. This table is for the community. This table is for decision makers, law enforcement, and most importantly, substance users, to come together to advocate for your rights and your needs. This is no small feat. There's drug user groups across the country, and I think this is the first that managed to get funding on its own. So that requires an applause. Julia is one of the most determined women I know, and one of the most saucy women I know.
Isn't that the truth?
But her, along with her new team, Amy, Zoe, Corey, and Bridget, and in collaboration with the board, I foresee that this program will continue to grow and evolve. The symbolism of this day, of this event, and of the work that CAPED does, and their goals of advocating for a safe supply. Today we are going to plant 2 poppy plants. Now I realize it's traditionally used to honor veterans who have sacrificed their lives and their bravery for our country. But today the poppies symbolize the war on drugs and the war on drug users. That the draconian laws that drug users face and the hardships that they experience. It also represents the most natural source of opium. So if we all had a poppy field, as an alternative to the unpredictable drug supply. There are 2 plants that we're going to plant, and the reason for 2 is that never use alone, right? Never use alone. Always use with someone.
Yep.
And in doing this work, we can't do it alone. We have to go together. So without any further ado, we're going to plant
I got extra dirt tape on.
You're planting in the sunlight, that's a good thing. Get the light, That's great. Good job. Really important. It's a symbol, right? Yeah. Love it.
They fit perfectly there too.
Love your hair.